Anne Boleyn walked toward her death carrying a small purse. Inside were gold coins, a payment for the man who would sever her head. But here's the twisted part. She didn't just pay him, she tipped him. And the reason why reveals something deeply disturbing about Tudor executions that most people never learn. Anne's execution wasn't like other royal beheadings. While most people know she lost her head, what they don't know is the bizarre transaction that happened right before, and the dark economic reality behind England's most famous execution. This wasn't just about death, it was about business. First, here's what made Anne's execution completely abnormal. In Tudor England, nobles were executed with axes, and those executions were absolutely brutal. The axe was heavy. The executioner was sometimes drunk or incompetent. Multiple blows weren't unheard of. Mary, Queen of Scots, 3 strikes. Margaret Pole. The executioner literally chased her around the block, hacking at her neck and shoulders 11 times before she died. This was a terrifying possibility. This was what Anne should have expected. But instead, she got something different. Henry VIII, the same king who framed her and sent her to her death, specially imported a swordsman from Calais, France. Interestingly, the appointment of this executioner was made even before Anne's death sentence was handed down, but this service came with a price tag, and for a darker reason than you might think. Anne had to pay her own executioner. Not just pay, she had to pay well. Not in a legal sense, but it was strategic and very much in her interest. The swordsman charged up to £23. In today's money, that's roughly £7,000 to £16,000. Anne herself had no personal access to money during imprisonment. The payment almost certainly came from her household funds. Not all nobles paid for their executions, but most high-ranking ones did. A clean beheading required specific conditions: the correct angle, uninterrupted motion, and enough force without hesitation. If the blow landed too high or too flat, the blade could strike the wrong place and fail to sever the spinal cord cleanly. Executioners learned anatomy through repeated executions, animal slaughter, and sometimes by assisting surgeons. Experience mattered enormously. A well-paid, reputable executioner was far more likely to guarantee a quick, painless death. And that's what makes this so disturbing. Pain was not a moral concern of the state, but a negotiable outcome. A luxury not many could afford. In Anne's case, the payment ensured a faster and more precise death. Sword executions were considered more merciful and prestigious, but also riskier if mishandled. Anne's executioner, known for his skill, was paid to minimize her suffering. However, there are documented cases in Europe where enemies of the condemned paid the executioner to botch the execution on purpose, causing maximum suffering. For Anne, the payment worked. Her death was described as extremely quick, but there's one detail almost no one talks about. Why was she blindfolded in those final moments? Find out in the next video.